Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. We are going to code Emacs Lisp, not coding Emacs Lisp, but I'm going to show you Xah Fly Keys, the most efficient key binding for Emacs. And what is Emacs? Emacs is the most powerful text editor. Okay, so this is for you guys, programmers, coders, scientists, engineers, mathematicians, and writers. So when you need to manipulate text a lot, Xah Fly Key Emacs is the answer. And when you use Emacs, use Xah Fly Keys. It's more efficient than Vim. And Praveen is using EvoMod. EvoMod is kind of similar but inferior. So this is more efficient than EvoMod is a mod in Emacs, a mod for Emacs that makes Emacs using behave like Vim. Okay, so let me get my coffee, be right back in 10 seconds, and let's begin. Okay, so Xah Fly Keys, and be right back. Fantastic and beautiful coffee. And tea. Coffee and tea. Okay, so we're gonna demonstrate Xah Fly Keys, and I'm gonna do some Emacs workflow so you can see as I code how do I work on my website. So every 1 hour or so I get up and walk, so I got this bunch of screenshots. I walk back and forth with a notebook and I write notes. So these are things I need to change. So okay, so what is Xah Fly Keys? First of all, so Xah Fly Keys, close eyes. So right now I'm using Xah Fly Keys. If you don't know, you can see all my command calls on the left. For example, move cursor by word, right and left. You see forward word, backward word, and the keystroke is shown on the left side. I'm using a Vora keyboard layout. So Xah Fly Keys. So you can go to this xahlee.info, search for Xah Fly Keys. You can find it. There's a video. Actually, I've done quite a few videos, so you can watch and learn it, and you can install it. It's on GitHub, download on GitHub. Okay, so let me quickly tell you what is Xah Fly Keys. Okay, Xah Fly Keys is an efficient key binding for Emacs. First of all, so you use Emacs a text editor, the most powerful and flexible. Then, so for example, if you want to open file in a traditional text editor, for example, let's go VS Code. Let's start VS Code. Okay, so there you have it, the VS Code of the same file. Wait, update version, shut up. So this exact same file, you see, Xah Talk Show, episode 678 in VS Code, there. So it's a text editor, okay, but for example, if you want to open file, now typically, traditionally, in VS Code or other editors, you press Control O. Then it shows a bunch of files you want to open. Okay, so I don't want to open. So, but in Emacs, it has its own keys. That would be Control X, Control F. Wait, I removed the key, so I don't have that. So basically, in Emacs, the keys are cumbersome. So that's when Xah Fly Keys come in. So now, if I want to open a file, I don't have to press Control and hold down Control. I press. Wait, this is open previous. So press. It asks me to open a file. Okay, cancel. So Emacs keys by default is complicated lots of, control X, control something, then alt something meta. So Xah Fly Keys is a modal. It's like Vim. So you don't have to hold this and press that. You don't have to do that. So all keys are just a single key press. For example, open is space C and wait, not that, space C, that, by muscle memory E. So I'm using a Vorak keyboard layout, so it's different from the one you are using. Okay, so if you don't know what is keyboard layout, search for xahlee keyboard blog. There are 1,000 articles there. So layout, so you can see keyboard layout. So you can see in this picture, you got QWERTY. This is what you are familiar with. And Vorak, this is what I use. So Vorak is more efficient because the most frequently used keys are in the home row, the big circles. So you see QWERTY, Vorak. QWERTY, you have to go all over Vorak, and you have others like Comac and Norman and Walkman. Okay, so I'm using Vorak keyboard layout. So what you see the keystroke on the left side. Those are Vorak. So anyway, so Xah Fly Keys is an efficient key binding system. Okay, and you can go watch a video. So there's some changes I made recently. So now this is for those of you already using Xah Fly Keys. Xah Fly Keys has been around for like 13 years. Before that, 5 years before that, it's Emacs key binding, which I created also. But I created Xah Fly Keys as a replacement. Okay, so anyway, for those of you using it, I made some changes, kind of, you might consider it as a kind of minor upgrade. So it's an upgrade. So the changes are, I removed the keys that uses digit. So for example, delete other window. For example, let's say you have many split windows. No, in Emacs you can split in different ways. Okay, so if you want to unsplit, before that you press the digit 3 key. Now it doesn't work. Now it just insert because I changed it. So now if you want to unsplit, you press this on Vorak keyboard. It's a dash. It's your pinky to the right. Okay, you see, unsplit. So that's some of the key changes. All the digit keys are removed. Why? Because the digit key, the digit row, they are on top. They are hard to press, and especially for touch typers. Now, if you don't touch type, then it doesn't matter because like normal keyboard, you usually, you move your whole hand to press the digit key. Usually, you look at the keyboard like half of the time. But if you are a touch typist, then your hand is always in this position. Then you have to like move up. And that actually created permanent damage to my fingers because of the 1, 2, 3 keys on the left side of the keyboard. One time in 2010 and another time. So 2010 it's the key 1 and 2. Then 2016 it's the key 3. So you are wondering, so how is it possible? Why is pressing those keys damage your hand, like painful? In fact, it's permanent. I still suffer from it. So so it's a long story. So here's my log of my typing experience and repetitive strain injury. So the key 1 and 2 happened because key 1, 2, because back in 2010, I was using the Microsoft 4000 keyboard. Okay, so this keyboard. And so 1 and 2 are on the left. So I have a habit. So you see they are shifted way to the left. So instead of just moving my hand, up, like using my pinky and ring finger, I tend to like twist my hand to the side and use my index finger to press them, 1 and 2. So I do that, so for several years. Then then started to have some pain. Then I realized that's a problem. Why do I have to press 1 and 2 often? Because 1 and 2 is the most used digit among all, 1 and 0, okay? Then 2, far more than all the rest combined. And the other reason is that, what is 1 and 2? I forgot. Why do I have to press 1 and 2, okay? Yeah, I have a complete log about it, 2010, Programmer Hand Health, VI Escape Key Syndrome, okay? So the reason why I'm pressing 1 and 2 so much is because I forgot why do I have to press. Oh yeah, so in Ergo Emacs, Alt 1 and Alt 2 are for expanding pen. So that's for this operation, split pen, or split vertical, and unsplit. You have to do this often. So on Ergo Emacs system, which is a key binding system for Emacs, that is Alt 1 and Alt 2. So that is why I always have to press the 1 and 2. That created a damage to my hand, painful, after 5 years. So that's one thing. Then the other thing this repetitive strain injury, they occur every few years. Then in 2016, I started to have another problem. Once a problem happened, after a while, you discovered, oh, that is why I have this pain. Then you avoid it, So once I discovered in 2010, this 1 and 2 keys create problem. How do you know? Because every time you try to press those keys, you feel the pain, okay? So usually, sometimes it's easy to discover what's the cause, sometimes not. So once you discover it, you avoid it, you change the key binding and stuff. So that's one issue, 2010. Then then there's other incident, okay? But 2016, another thing happened is that I discovered I have this mysterious pain right here, and still so today. Not right now because I didn't type too much, but every time I type too much, for example, a few months ago, I have pain here, okay, permanent. So I usually use a ball to hit it or use massager, permanent damage. So, but in 2016, I discovered that that's the cause, okay? And I don't know what's the cause, how is it possible? Why is it hurt here? I do not know. But after several months, I eventually discovered that is because it's a number 3 key, okay? So you cannot see it. Can you see it now? So the number 3 key, on this keyboard, you cannot see, but I wasn't using this keyboard, but anyway, the number 3 key, okay, doesn't matter what keyboard. So in order to press that, you extend your middle finger all the way up. So that key is doing this unsplit, this unsplit. So every time you do something in Emacs, let's say, for example, let's say diode, then it split the window. So usually after you read it, you don't, you want to remove it. So unsplit, okay? So that unsplit was the digit 3. So you have to press that every minute, every 10 seconds or every minute. So that is why in 2016 I got the pain here, serious. Okay, so I got a full blog about it. So back then I was using this keyboard, and then I was typing so much. I was the world's #1 on record who sits in front of the computer more than anyone, the top 1,000, I would say, in USA at least. So then in 2000, what year? 2016, I switched to this keyboard. Again, the same pain happens on this keyboard, number 3 key, okay, the number 3 key, even on this keyboard, Kinesis. So, I have full documentation about this hand pen. So that's 2016. Wait, where did it go? Okay, so xahlee typing experience 2016. Okay, so you can read about the details. Okay, so that is why. So that is why I made a change to Xah Fly Keys. Showing browser to remove all these digit keys. Okay, that's some of the change. Any questions? Any comments and questions? Nobody is here. Okay. 7 people watching. So any questions, comments? So GCS says I'm using PT Navito. Now PT Navito, let me introduce to other people. PT Navito is an efficient key binding system for Portuguese. So in Brazil, mostly spoken in Brazil. So this is my keyboard review. This is all the trackballs you ever wanted to know. Okay, there are 1,000 pages on my keyboard guide. Okay, and the Xah keyboard guide. So you can video reviews. There's so I had hundreds of video reviews in the past few years. I haven't done much about keyboards in past a year, 2 or 2, but I had so many. So ergonomic keyboards. So you got, one of the fantastic one I still need to learn and show you guys is this fantastic device, Smart Board Data Hand. Okay, so I will be showing you guys again. I will be learning this. Yeah, I don't know when, but I will. Okay, I will for sure. So data hand, okay, smart board. So search the web. Thanks to the guy, check it out. I consider this ultimate input system. Okay, but I haven't used it yet. So anyway, so we were talking about the PT Navito. So you have many efficient layout, and one of them is PT Navito for Portuguese. Okay, this one. So you can see right now this is English text. If you type English, it's much more efficient than QWERTY because all the keys you can see on the home row. So this is QWERTY on English, Vorak on English text, and then PT Navito on English text. But you can also switch to Spanish. I don't have Portuguese, but Spanish is similar. So check. So if you type Spanish, it looks like that. English, Spanish, German, French. Okay. Anyway, PT Navito. So PT Navito, let's see if I have the detail. Okay. Nativo, PT Nativo. Okay, PT Nativo is a key binding design that looks like that, created by Brazilian, by this guy Ari Caldeira. Okay, so in 2006, I think he contacted me, or I forgot what, but I knew it since 2006, and his website went down. So I got a mirror here. Okay. So that's PT Nativo for efficient key binding, efficient letter layout for Portuguese. And Xah Fly Keys support that too, support this layout. Xah Fly Keys supports all these, all the layouts I showed. Okay, so let's go back to layout. So check out layout. So, Xah Fly Keys supports all these layouts. Okay, so Xah Fly Keys. Now, any other question? Now I'm going to, so now what I'm going to do is, so Xah Emacs blog, close, Xah talk show. So during my walk back and forth sessions, I have these notes. I need to update my page. So I'm going to show you, I'm just gonna work on them, and you're gonna see my Emacs workflow. So it's a demonstration of how I work on my website of 10,000 HTML pages written tag by tag by me since like 30 years ago. Okay, so these are the things I need to work on. So switch to it and switch back. Okay, let's see the comments. So I like the Windows setup. The postdoc I work with, I work under. Oh, you work under a postdoc. You also use Windows, but I wonder if you are using Emacs, why not go full open source Linux? That has been explained 1,000 times, a frequently asked question. Just search my YouTube for operating system or search for Linux, like which operating system is the best, why you should use this or that. But basically, it's just for practical reasons, okay? I don't like Windows. Windows got lots of problems. User interface, the most lousy, but better than Linux, okay? Linux is the worst user interface, you know. Microsoft Windows, they got lots of political problems associated with deep state. So they gather your information, you cannot trust it. So for that aspect, Linux is much better. But then the Unix idiots, they don't know how to design user interface. So on Linux, you're gonna spend an hour every day to, oh, how do you do this? How do you change this? You know, basically every day you're gonna spend 1 hour to diddle. Like, I need to change this to this, you know, then a problem. Then you go to Stack Overflow, then you know, config and fuck whatnot. I've been using Linux since 1998. The first Linux I installed is MK Linux. But back then I was mostly Solaris, a Unix guy, okay, Unix. Then I used Linux as my desktop from 2008 to 2005, something like that. So let me show you the article. Just search for Linux, okay? So I have lots of, I have like 100 pages on Linux, okay? You can see endless. This is 188 results. So Microsoft created an ad against Linux back in 2000, year 2000, okay, 2000 December in German. So you are looking at Linux, you know, the mutation of the Linux. So the article, Unix pestilence, you know, I despise Unix, which became Linux, okay? Unix is the most fucking insulting fuck, Unix and C. Now, if you follow me, you already know that because I talk about that all the time in the past 4 years. Okay, so, but anyway, what are we, what, you know, is there something, yeah, I wanted to show you the Mac OS, Mac, about how to build Emacs on Linux and stuff, and let's say Windows. Microsoft Windows install Linux tools. So that's a list of most common needed Linux tools you need on Windows, but not today, you know, because PowerShell and so on. And here's the relevant article, you know, Linux versus Mac versus Windows, which is best for key binding. I also talked about this 2 or 3 times in my live stream. You know, as you know, I'm a, you know, expert, you know, and study on key binding systems so much, you know. For example, this keyboard page, you can look at, you know, typing habit, touch type, what's the proper posture, mousing tips, how to avoid mouse pain, ergonomic keyboards of all sorts of, there are literally 1,000 articles. Do-it-yourself keyboards, all sorts of, normal keyboards, all sorts of, and then keybinding design. This is talking about Emacs, Vim. You want a keyboard shortcut to do some command. What is the most efficient design? Should you have Control X for this command, or should it be Control Y, or should it be Alt X? Or should it be sequential, like press Alt, release, then press something, like the Windows Alt space. You can see that, resize window and stuff. Alt space. Sequential. So there are many ways. So this, this index is full of articles about that keybinding design issue. Then you got all sort of typing related, touch typing. What is touch typing? Gaming, touch typing competition. What does word per minute mean? Does it matter? What is the average? Who are the fastest typers? Things like that. And what if you have hand pen? What kind of toys or exercise tools you can relieve your hand pen? So 1,000 articles. Okay. For example, speed typing. So here is all the article about speed typing. Who is the world's fastest? What's their record? And where can you see them demonstrate? So YouTube links and, So anyway, so then laptop keyboards design, intricate, very, and history of it, lots of details, evolution of laptop keys, and then mouse and joystick and all sorts of, okay? So check it out, okay? Just search for Xahlee keyboard. I haven't done live stream. I haven't talked about this topic for the past 2 years, because I've been doing this for, over 10 years, actually since 1994. And so the question was, we were talking about, we can see your screen. Oh, shit. That's so bad. Fuck. How long? So anyway, so I was showing my keyboard guides. Okay, so there are like 1,000 pages about ergonomic keyboard and do-it-yourself keyboards and normal keyboards. Okay, and then keypads, all the things you want to know about keypads. Then kind of miscellaneous, esoteric, comical, or humorous things about keyboard or keybinding or typing related. All these, for example, the hackers battle station. And there's lots of histories of, this is one of the most famous and great design, this type board called IBM Selectric, about 40 years ago. So history, like, for example, what is the first, who invented the meta key, or who invented the alt key or the command key or the control key, or it's all documented somewhere here. And the ergonomic keyboard history. So you got an ergonomic typewriter back in 1935, ergonomic typewriter. Okay, then the Japanese from 1980s. Then you got key switch guide. So this is all you need to know about you keyboard aficionados or keyboard fanatics, which key switch is the best and so on. Okay, and my opinions of it. How are they designed? What do they mean? For example, this is buckling spring, one of the most famous and loved. Then there is like magnetic switch. Then this is optical switch. Optical. Okay, fantastic. So then you key switch. Then you got design of keyboard issues. So besides key switch, there is tenting. Tenting is when you tilt your keyboard in the middle. Is it important? How important is it? And so on. So I discuss all these issues. And firmware. What about firmware? Like if you buy a gaming keyboard, you are familiar with this. A gaming keyboard got this fancy, fancy and ugly interface to program your keys and control, set your keyboard shortcuts and so on. And the RGB lights, colorful lighting and stuff. And, and keycaps. So there are many beautiful keycaps. Okay, so for example, this paw keycaps, paw and gnaw. Many of them are very beautiful. Okay, so then tons of others. Then special keys. So if you want to know the history of the control key, or history of the enter key, or what are the variations, different variations of the enter key size or the return key, or issues like what should it be named? Some keyboard says enter, some keyboard says return. Do they mean the same thing? What about the enter key on the numerical keypad? Usually there's also enter. Are they the same or are they different? And also on the Mac, you have different, and also besides the naming of the key, but there's also the labeling of the key. For example, the backspace key. The space key, why is it so long? Who created, who first created the space key? Was it, that long? Was it always been this long? There's history, okay? So then, then who is the, the first top key? So escape, when is it invented? Why, what does it do? Why is it called escape? Then the, screen system request, print screen, score lock, pause break, kind of obsolete, and then you got the compose key and autograph key. So for example, autograph and compose, okay? Then you got page up and down, where, which keyboard first invented, have the page up and down, and okay, so all these are about keyboard keys. And you got keyboard layout issue, which is familiar to a lot of us, different keyboard letter layout. Okay, then you got so go back. Then you got keybinding design, which is like Vim and Emacs. Then you got typing, or things you want to know about typing. What is touch typing? Is it actually good for you? Like some people will say touch typing actually creates hand pain, which is false. And there we mentioned, toys for your hands if you have hand pain, okay? Okay, so far so good. Now we talked for 40 minutes. My man, 1994 is 30 years old ago. Yeah, I'm close to 60, my friend. So 1994, when I was like 23 or something. 20. I was like 20 or something. Okay, so yeah, I'm showing, so then typing. Okay, so you got this everything related to typing and repetitive strain injury. Then you got everything related to using the mouse. How should you hold the mouse to avoid pain? How can you adjust mouse speed? Things like that. Okay. Then, and mouse drag, like Apple created, kind of popularized the idea of using the mouse to drag. For example, you can select, I have the mouse here. Can you see my mouse? No. So you gotta switch, you see. You can drag with the mouse. Okay, so who created this idea? So this user interface, is it good or bad? Does it create hand pain or not? What is the alternative design? So this article talk about that. Ban mouse drag. In my opinion, it should be banned. Okay. So go back. So this is all about mouse, using the mouse, and then you got everything you need to know to configure your keyboard shortcuts. So you got Microsoft Windows, you got Power Toys, I recommend it, okay, Power Toys. You got an entire tutorial of AutoHotkey. So if you are on Windows, you can install AutoHotkey and read my tutorial. So I show you what it does and how to program it and how to, for example, insert text. So you can press a key, you'll insert, say today's date, which I have in Emacs, for example. Press, you see. But I'm not using AutoHotkey, but I am using AutoHotkey. So AutoHotkey, for you can see my configuration for AutoHotkey, which one of them is this toggle maximize window. Okay, for example, I can press the key, it becomes full screen, not full screen, but maximize window. Press it again, it becomes original. You see, press, it toggles. Without AutoHotkey, by default on Windows, you cannot do that. Okay. But instead, you have going to full screen, which is different from maximize window. Full screen is no good. Okay. So about AutoHotkey. So back to everything you want to know about Windows. So here is complete list of Windows key binding. I mean, what they call Windows keyboard shortcuts. That's what they call it on Windows. On Linux, they call it key binding. Okay, this techno nerds detail. So that's interesting. As a human animal, what is the proper terminology for keyboard shortcuts? Should it be key binding or should it be like keyboard shortcuts? You can dive into that. Then the proper subject matter would be in the field of linguistics. And linguistics and terminology, the science of terminology analysis, and so on. Okay, so keyboard shortcuts, everything you want to know, and of course, there's not just then there's specific to Windows key, this Windows logo key, and several other screenshot keyboard shortcuts, and file explorer shortcuts, So this page is all about Windows. Now go back. Now there's Linux. Now there's Linux is more complex. You have like 20 pages about it. LXDE keys. And Linux keyboard software guide, like pretty much complete, okay? But I haven't worked on this for 5 or more years. And how do you swap Control and Alt on Linux? That's how you do it. That's one of the way, okay? And, so everything you want to know, let's go back on Windows, on Linux, or on the Mac. So on the Mac, it actually turns out the simplest and easiest and the more powerful, okay? On the Mac, all you want to do is just, when you want to create your custom keyboards, just install, what is the command? Swap, add, create custom keyboard layout there. Mac keyboard software guide. Just install this one, Keybinding Elements. This software got renamed several times. Back in 2014, it's called Key Remap for MacBook. Okay, then it got renamed. So I've been writing this long ago. For example, this one is 2011 begin. So not just that Keybinding, that you got others. Then you got the Mac's own system. So anyway, this page is all about keyboard shortcuts on the Mac. Okay, then you can go to Emacs. Then Emacs, this page is the table of contents to all articles about Emacs key binding. So you got 20-30 pages. Okay, so then next, everything about typewriters, this Asian, you see, look at this Baroque Asian beautiful design of typewriters. Typewriter is the granddaddy of today's keyboard, and also the reason why today's keyboard is so lousy, extremely, because they came from mechanical typewriters. They inherited the design. We inherited the habit, basically. So even many of the habit doesn't apply anymore because our keyboard is not mechanical typewriters, but the habit stuck, such as the shift key. On this mechanical keyboard, on this one, they don't even have a shift key. But this one is interesting because you see, they don't have a shift key, but you have capital letters, then you have lowercase letters. Each one is a key by itself, you see. But you can look at, then you got older designs like that. Then you can see shift key. They got a shift key here. Do they have it? No, no, not yet. But this one, I think this, no. Okay, so, you got funky designs. But sometimes, they started to have a shift key, okay? So why shift key? Why do you have to hold the shift, then press the letter key, then release the letter, then release the shift? Why is it that way? Why can't you just press shift and press the letter? Well, that's because shift key on mechanical keyboards back then, when you have to hold it down, because you press it down, it shifts the gears. You see, it shifts the gears. Then you press the letter key, then different hammer jacks up. Then you have to release the shift. Then all the mechanism goes back. So that is why it's called shift. So for example, on this keyboard, can you see shift? I think there is there. Let's see, big image. I think that's German. Is that shift? So that is why shift. That's why you always have to hold something. But that's idiotic because that applies to mechanical keyboards, not today. But you see, habit stuck. Once you have computer keyboards, you don't have to do that anymore. But however, people want to they want to be able to they actually want the holding the shift, then press the letter, then release the letter, then release the shift, because that's the way how things work. I mean, they it's just a habit. If you design something that's press shift and press letter, they don't like it because, God, what the fuck you created, it's so unintuitive. A lot of things we are using today are because of that habit from long past. Okay, so that is why shift, you have to hold it. Then same thing with control alt fuck. Okay, you shouldn't do that. So if we can throw away history, in fact we can do it today. Microsoft or Apple or Linux, you just keybinding, you don't have to hold alt, don't hold. Press alt, press some key, or press control, press some other key. Holding is no good. Holding is one of the primary problem of creating hand stress. Okay, and also you can turn on sticky keys, to sticky keys. Okay, it's in one of these articles. Special keys, keybinding, design, mousing, programming, program keys. So I talk about sticky keys here. Search for STIC, so I recommend it. Turn it on Windows and on Mac. You can turn it on, and on Linux. Okay, so you don't have to hold the modifier keys. Then, okay, so we talked about, then of course there's a mouse, full mouse review. There's a trackball, all trackballs you never seen before, and do-it-yourself trackballs, and then trackball history. Okay, then trackballs, then of course there is pen input. I have right here, a pen input. So you can see, I can click and I can open that Microsoft Surface Book. This was the notebook I used to walk around and take notes. So close that, go to this directory. So you see, that's the notes I'm taking. That's the things I need to work on. Okay, we digressed so much to about keyboard stuff. As okay, no comments. Pen input device. Okay, then knobs and dials. These are super useful. In fact, necessary if you do Photoshop or if you edit videos a lot. If that's your profession. Now, if your profession is a illustrator, of course, you need the pen input. It's necessary for your job. And this one, for example, this one Sony digital paper. This is ink. This is what's called digital ink, e-ink. Okay, someone showed me. He's a mathematician. He's a mathematician. Thanks to CID. Very expensive. So if you are an artist, of course, it's necessary to get this one of the pen devices. This another one from Emily. Wait, this one from Jamesney, a friend in China. So you got, you can write on it, which is very useful. But if you edit videos or Photoshop is your profession, then you need these knobs and wheels, kind of necessary because they make your work much more efficient. Adjust, select color, adjust whatever, Photoshop stuff or video. For video editing, you need this called jog wheel and shuttle ring. Okay. Amazing, this you see. So that's knobs and wheels, and of course then you got joystick. Now if you are a gamer, then this is necessary. Then there's also visual control, eye tracker, okay, which I never used myself. Then there's a bunch of, then there's coding keyboard. So I was talking about this, which I will use down the road. So can you see? Yeah, this is fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So this came from the design of this called data hand, and this is a precursor to the Svalbard. Then you got Svalbard. Then you got stenotype machine. How does it work? You want to know. Okay, so so I got lots of articles about them, and here is my keyboards. Like right now, I'm using that, and here is my previous one, Kinesis 360, and also Ultimate Hacking keyboard, and then. So this is my battle station, using Ultimate Hacking keyboard as my main, the version 2. So I got 2 of them. One is version 1, then I got version 2. Then before that is Kinesis Advantage 2 keyboard. That. So I have lots of videos about them. Then these are my other keyboards. This one is called Signum. I think it's very interesting because you got these flippers. So you see these flippers. I got the keyboard somewhere. Okay, the flippers lets your thumb, so you can, move your thumb, and they function as a key. I think that is an innovation. Okay, but unfortunately, the guy who sent me this, he is expecting me to build it, like I'm, using the what's the software, these keyboard hackers. They have, you have to configure, you have to compile the software I don't have time for that, so this is by this guy Troy Fletcher. He's on YouTube. You can watch his video. So I never had time to configure it, so I end up never used it. Okay, but I think this is very interesting. Then another great person who sent me this gurgle, which I used for a year or two. Very interesting. Okay, so lots of keyboards. Okay, but now let's go back. Okay, I want to do some work. So go back. So oh yeah, this is one of the article I wanted to show earlier, because someone is asking me about why don't you use Linux. Okay, so in 2009 I switched from Mac to Windows, and here is my complete story why. Okay, then at the bottom is a brief history. So 1990 to 1991 I was using DOS. 1992 to 2009 I was using Mac. So that's 17 years using Mac. 1999 to 2003 I was using Windows NT. Okay, that was at work. And 2009 to 2011 I was using Windows for 3 years. So I wasn't a Windows user. I'm mostly Mac. For my own home, used mostly Mac, and 17 years of Mac and 3 years of Windows. Then from 2011 to 2017 I was using Linux for 6 years. Then back to Mac, then to Windows. Okay, so but for my work usually I'm on Unix, Solaris. So that is one of the articles. So this is my old Mac computer 20 years ago, 2009. Okay, so let's see. That's about, so you can, so there's also foot pedal you can check out. This is Kinesis foot pedal, very expensive. And my other devices, for example, my camera, this one is extremely lousy, very popular. Logitech C920, very bad. And this is great, fantastic portable drive, Samsung. And this is my looking into hi-fi speakers. They are expensive, like $1,000 or something. So anyway, so that's some of the things. So now I want to work on this. Okay, so let's go to it. I want to work on my, or should I stop? Okay, so I want to work so let's go to talk show. So go to Xah Fly Keys. Now I'm gonna work on my stuff. So color or red. So you see this illustration is SVG. Okay, so let's go ahead, make a backup, search for SVG. So that's that part. So what I want to do here is I need to color. You see, some of them are letter keys, some of them are the commands. So I want to color the commands section. Okay, so so this is technical detail. I'm just gonna work on this. So you look at my Emacs workflow, the power of Emacs. Actually, I don't want that many windows, so close this one. Okay, so what you're gonna do is so this is SVG. Now if you don't know SVG, search for Xah SVG tutorial, so you can learn from the ground up for beginners. Basic examples, rectangles, line, and circle, and how to create a clock. So the code is here. 50 lines of code, you can have it. So that's SVG tutorial. So but now what I want to make this color. So okay, so showing browser. Now let's go to this page, tutorial. So let's open that. Okay, so that's the same SVG, so search for it. Okay, begin here, and I want to color them. So I need to look at how to color SVG. Okay, so SVG shape style, specifying style. Okay, I want shape style, stroke lineup, stroke fill. Okay, fill capacity, fill rule. So what is the color? So fill green, stroke blue, stroke width. Okay, so let's try that. So what do I begin here? So okay, so the commands begin here, so we can do something like are they style? Yeah, annoying. So they are actually style, something like that. Okay, so stroke width, I don't want stroke width. The stroke default is none. Okay, value is CSS color or none. So let's okay, cut that and pasted that. Okay, so now we got that, and let's just do them all. Okay, so replace that by that. Okay, do it. No, yes, 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 yes. Text. Wait, is it stroke or fill? Not sure. Okay, so showing browser. Now you see. Okay. Okay, I don't want that. I want, let's change something. Okay, change that to fill. Is it good? That's better. Okay, so let's see. So color or red. So should it be red or blue? Now, in order to answer that, I need to double check on PowerShell Xah toggle dark theme because so that's a PowerShell command you can find on my website. Okay, so it doesn't matter because whenever you change color, you want to make sure it works well in white theme and dark theme. In our case, it doesn't matter because the SVG is white background. Okay, so go back here. So wait, why don't we? Oh, not here. Okay, so yeah, we changed over there. So let's leave it like that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this one color or red, it's done. Delete it. This one command mod, remove it. Okay, so because the command mod, that's actually not, you know, to change something to command mod is usually the escape key, but escape key is usually not there. Okay, so remove that. That's done. Delete. Next. So escape in GUI. Okay, so now that means so Xah Fly Keys tutorial. What is that? Activate command. So that's not here. So that's Xah Fly Keys. Copy back to Emacs. Open it. Search for GUI. Actually, this SVG. Let's make a backup. Delete the SVG because we're gonna copy from the other. Now search for GUI. Wait, why is it not showing? Oh, okay, so activate. So search for activate. Yeah, so there's two of them. So right now you say activate command mod. Now dark theme is very annoying. Okay, dark theme is bad for your eyes. Okay, I think that's it. Activate command mod, insert mod. So what is this cursor? So this is tutorial actually. Yeah, so search for activate. Yeah, so there. Just copy that, paste it here, and delete that. And we need escape. Actually, that HTML key tab UK. Okay, tab UK. Yeah. Okay. So escape. So when in GUI Emacs, escape will do this command. Wait, did we? No, wait. I don't want to show cursor movement. Activate. So you have two keys to activate command mod. Okay, that's good. Next, escape when in GUI. So delete that. Next. So yeah, so you want to capitalize the first letter. Okay, so that is in tutorial. Search for H3. So you need to search for H3. Okay, search, capitalize, search, capitalize, search, capitalize. Now let's do a keyboard macro. Okay, so keyboard macro, search that H3, enter, then move the key, then capitalize it, then stop the keyboard macro. Okay, now let's just call keyboard macro. Do it, 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 do it. Okay, so undo that. So switch back, you can see, let's see, where are the other H3? But anyway, that is done. Okay, so capitalize the first letter. Okay, so wait, so what about H2? List matching lines, they are good. So far so good, so good. Okay. List matching lines. Okay, so H2, yeah. H3, that's good. Okay. Delete that. Yeah. God. Go to talk show. Not that. Bookmark talk show. There. Actually, go to XX directory. Open that. Let's open, instead of in Emacs, let's just open them in this. Oh, it's gone. Refresh. Now open them in this image viewer called iPhone view. Okay, move by word. Okay, so let's delete that. Tutorial, Xah key tutorial, search for move by word. So I need to, what is this? Try them. Move that up there. Okay, showing browser. That's this sentence. Okay, move by chart. So then end, move to begin end buffer. Okay, so, and let me explain this one. So you can see there's a header, move to begin end of buffer. Now I use a slash. That's a convention in English. That means begin or end of a buffer, because you have two commands, one to move to beginning of buffer and the other move to end of buffer. But now, so this is about writing linguistics. I think it's better if you say move to begin of a buffer. Then repeat move or end of a buffer, or for example, or end of buffer. So you can, so this I believe is better than that, even though it's longer and verbose. So, but you can just shorten it just to move to begin a buffer. So now I'll just use that. Okay, so back to browser. So you can see there, and now refresh. Okay, and to be consistent, let's lowercase this. Now there's another style issue. That is, do you want to capitalize every word, or do you want to capitalize the words that are normally capitalized, or do you want to simply capitalize only the beginning of a sentence when in a title? So you have different style guides for that. So normally I follow the American style, where you capitalize not every word, but like capitalize every word except words that are common, like proverbs. What are those words? Proverbs, and like they are called grammatically. What are the words called for to and of? Adverbs or something. Anyway, they are kind of the English grammar words, which is not significant. So in American convention writing style, they do not capitalize those. But another style is more systematic. You simply capitalize each and every word in a title. Okay. And another style, which is more common in Britain, is that you don't capitalize every word. You only capitalize the first word, just like a sentence. Okay. So I kind of started to adopt this, but not much. So right now I'm using it a bit for H3. But usually I capitalize all the important words. But I think this British way is actually better because it's simpler. Okay, so that's another detail. So, okay, so what's the next thing you want to change? Okay, move to beginning of buffer. Actually, you know, by convention, it's beginning. Okay, that's another quirk of English. You know, instead of beginning of buffer, you have to say beginning of a buffer. Exactly why it's kind of complicated. So this is grammar and writing and style issue. Okay, so close that, kill that bracket text. Okay, so this should be changed to delete the brackets and its inner text. Okay, that's better. That's the Xah Smart Delete, a feature in Xah Fly Keys. For example, let me type it. That is Xah Smart Delete. Parenthesis, a feature of, let's say, a nice feature. Okay, now move the cursor here. Now look at the pink window. If I press a key, it'll delete the entire bracketed text. Okay, so for example, if there's a white space on the left, you press the E key, like right here. You see it removes all the white space. Now, if the character to the left of cursor is a bracket, you press it, it deletes the entire bracket, you know, bracketed text. Okay, so that is this Xah Smart Delete command. So you can see here, you see right there. Okay, so now delete that. Now back to my notes. Okay, fixed next spaces or blank lines. Okay, delete chart, delete white space. Okay, that this is about Xah shrink white space. Okay, it's right here. So this command should be, so this is original, and now we're gonna modify delete white spaces. You know, I wanted to say delete spaces or blank lines. Okay, repeated call deletes the other type. Okay, now show in browser, search for shrink. So you can see now we have two versions of writing. So one description is delete white spaces, repeated call delete more white spaces. Okay, that's kind of short. Now this version, the new version, delete spaces or blank lines. Repeated call deletes the other type. Okay, so I think that is better. So let's remove the first version. So again, writing style, technical writing and style stuff. Okay, so this one is done. Yeah, so that then is there a redo key. Okay, so no comments. So let's go to undo. So is there a key for redo? So in Emacs, undo is complicated. It's different from other text editors. I'm not going to explain. You can find it on my article. Just search for Emacs undo redo. Well, then, but about 5 years ago or so, or maybe 10 years ago, Emacs started to have a command called redo. So let's see if there's a key for that. Do I have it in Xah Fly Keys? No, I don't think so. So go to Xah Fly Keys, go there. These matching lines, redo. Oh, I do have it. So I added a key. So that's a global control Y. Okay. Okay. So anyway, this part I need to think about because I might add a key to Xah Fly Keys. Okay. Next, text selection shortcuts. Okay. Delete that header. Mark and text selection. Okay. Just delete that. Delete. Add switch direction. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So wait. Undo. mark and text selection. So that is, if you want to select, you can press a key, okay, that's begin the mark. Then move cursor, you can select to the right or select to the left or by paragraph, so that's how you select text, okay, cancel. Now, but what if, let's say begin here, then you, begin, then you, let's say you begin here, then, okay, then go down. Let's say then you want to select before this. So what you can do is you switch the cursor position. You see, call this, then you can like extend, okay? Then you can switch back and you can extend, switch back and extend. So this is Xah Fly Keys. Now I'm in Xah HTML mod. So if I want to select the whole section, actually I can just press a key that does it. So it's even more efficient. But anyway, so this is, this page is a tutorial for Xah Fly Keys covering the basics. So I need to talk about, so let's add that. So this is how you select, and this should be select all, okay, select all. And this is a command, and that key right now is that, okay, that's space O, okay, space O. So tap UK to mark it to HTML, okay. Space O, what it does is it does this command, and what that command do is swap selection and position, something like that. Now Emacs uses its own technical jargon. So describe key, Emacs will say exchange point and mark. Point in Emacs is a technical jargon to mean cursor position, okay, but Emacs call it point. So for most other people, like people since 1990s, they have no idea what the fuck is a point. But Emacs refused to adopt to modern jargons, modern terminologies. Emacs stick with point. Instead of cursor position, Emacs say point. Okay, so that is part of the reason makes Emacs hard to use for a lot of people, because you have to learn, you have to learn new jargons everywhere. Like Emacs doesn't call it copy, paste, clipboard. What Emacs call it, copy, is yank. I mean, copy is paste is yank, copy is kill, okay. Copy is kill, paste is yank, and cursor is point, so it's very annoying. Anyway, so let's just say that, okay. So selection, so there it is, we added that. Better wording is swap cursor, move cursor to the other end of selection, okay. That is easier to understand. That characterizes my tutorials for programming languages. Mark is something in the key ring, not key ring. That's called no register. Yeah, you are correct. But mark is mark ring, okay. So when we're talking about this, then you go to Emacs tutorial, then go to practical Emacs Lisp, then there's a section on mark region, active region, Emacs own jargon. mark is basically the start of the selection. Region, normally we say selection. In Emacs, they call it region. And then you have active region, because for historical reasons, Emacs doesn't have, the region is not always active. So, I mean, in modern text editor, let's say simple text, notepad, you have a selection, you just click and select. But Emacs doesn't have that. So instead, because Emacs is like 10 years before you have like selection, before Apple. So Emacs, you have mark instead, mark to cursor point. But the selection intuitive beginning in the 1990s with the Macintosh, Mac, Apple, it highlight the text, you see. But Emacs cannot do that. Emacs don't know what, Emacs doesn't have highlighting until year 2000 something. But you see, but people like this highlight, it makes sense. You want to highlight something when you select it, right? So Emacs later on added it, and Emacs calls that, Emacs call it very idiotic name, transient mark mod, okay? Let's search there. So the highlighting, when you select something, it highlights it. That is beyond Emacs. That is like 10 years after Emacs have this text selection. So Emacs adds that. They call it transient mark mod. Okay, idiotic name. It was introduced in 1994, because by 1994 Apple introduced it. Then Microsoft copied it in Windows, 3.0 or something. So everyone is used to it. But the Emacs, oh Jesus, we don't have it. So what can we do? It's so they instead, so they retrofit and they have it, they call it transient mark mod. So that means when you have this mode on, that means when you make a selection, it actually highlight. Otherwise, it doesn't highlight. Okay. So that's kind of history. So then then you have the concept of active region. So you have region, which means selection. But once you add the color to highlight it, then you have the new concept of called active region. Then, but Emacs mark is very powerful, because Emacs is actually, more powerful than most text editors. So when you have a mark, you can have actually a history of marks, just like a history of a copy. Even today, Apple doesn't have history of copy. You have to install external applications. On Windows, you do. You just press Windows key, V, then you can copy previous or paste previous. Paste previous. So anyway, so mark ring is what you were saying. So you can like jump to previous, for example, Shift Y, jump to previous marked position. You see, now I'm moving my cursor to all the positions I've marked before in this buffer. Okay. Anyway, so I think that's it for today. So I got a few more things to do. Add switch directions. So I'm working on my select all. So I'm working on updating my tutorial. Copy, undo, select search text, select all there. Okay. Then what's next? Switch direction, we did that. Okay, then add B. Okay, so let's do this one. Search forward. So I want to add a new command to Xah Fly Keys. So let's go to the source code. Let's say search. Let's say I search. Okay. I want to create a new key. wait, search forward. Okay, yeah, I want to create a new key for search. Okay, so the new key will be capital B, and this will be search backward. Okay, now this will be new. Okay, so before that, I don't have a search backward. If you want to search something backward, let's say search this. Okay, you just search forward, then press right arrow to go forward, next, or press left arrow to go backward, previous. You see? So, but now, so I don't have. So if you want to search something before, you just search, then you just search it, then press the left arrow to go to previous. But now if I add this, you don't need a parent. If I add this, that means I can directly search backward by pressing capital B. Okay, now evaluate the buffer. It's done. Now press Shift B. Wait, okay, so it still requires you to wait, so what if I have this selected, Shift B? Okay, so I don't think I want to add that because it doesn't save you keystrokes, because when if I press Shift B, it prompts you to search backward. Yeah, it doesn't save you keys, not much. Anyway, let's leave it. Okay, so now if you go to the directory, now eShell, start eShell. So this is what I do. I'm showing you my workflow working on my packages. Okay, so go to eShell, then just say git status. So you can see Xah Fly Keys has been changed. Open it, call zvcdiff, so you can see the difference we did. You see, we added that. Now close it. Now if I want to commit, then I just say git add, then git commit. Okay, so I'm showing you, showing my workflow. What do I think about modern editors, VS Code and Z? I don't know about Z. I haven't used it, but VS Code, it's pretty good. I mean, it's easy. You don't have to spend much time to learn. Emacs, you have to spend, because Emacs they intentionally make it hard to learn, because they are like they are so-called gatekeepers. They are the real guys. We are the GNU. So Emacs has a lot of elements that's intentionally hard to learn. They don't want anyone to easily adopt it, but they refuse to believe that. Meanwhile, on one hand, they really want, please use Emacs. We are the most powerful. Please, all new people, if you don't know computer, you can still use Emacs, because, they try to say that. But meanwhile, when it comes to Emacs jargon, they refuse to change. For example, in the documentation, they refuse to change, the terminology paste from yank. They can easily change that. They actually can change that, so it becomes easier to learn. But they refuse. These fucking Emacs people. But so VS Code, is much more modern. It was created 10 years ago, so you can use. But the problem is, the problem is VS Code is from the giant deep state corporation, Microsoft. If you don't know, you follow my Twitter, you will see sometimes, like half of the time I talk about politics. Microsoft is very deep state. They don't really care about what's good as software. They they really just care about money and heavy censorship, very deep state. Grab your information wherever possible, whatever. So, but anyway, if we go just back to the technical issues, you can see here's Visual Studio. I got just one file open, maybe two, because this release notes is automatic. Let's close release notes, one single file. And it's using 641 megabytes of RAM. Okay, you can see that VS Code, one single file. I don't have any extensions. I don't have nothing installed. One single file, 600 megabytes. Now let's see Emacs. All the things we've been doing, including viewing. Let's see where talk show XX, including let's say opening image files. Let's see Emacs. There it is, Emacs. God, shift it again. There. 79 megabytes. Can you see that? Emacs, 80 megabyte memory usage. VS Code, one single file. Now it's like 430 megabytes. That's the difference. Okay. VS Code, easy to use. Yeah, you can, easy to use, fairly powerful. You can integration with PowerShell and so on. Yeah, but this is 10 times, 20, that's 20 times more memory use. That's only one, if I actually work in VS Code, I have to open tens of files. I can, right now in Emacs, I'm running a shell. I'm running lots of things. I can run Emacs list, lots of image files. 40 megabyte, 80 megabyte. But in VS Code, 400, 500 megabyte. That's a difference. This difference will not go away. Okay, there are many reasons. Well, but the most fundamental reason is that VS Code is from Microsoft, from a huge giant corporation. So they got programmers come and go. The programmers don't give a fuck. The programmers who work at the corporation, huge corporation, they come in, they just care about their pay. Every month they got a lot of money, a lot. Each month they get, what they get is like my 10 years income. I was very poor. 1 month, what they get, like $10,000, is equal to 10 years, $10,000. That's what I get. Okay, so but anyway, so they don't care about the code. So that's what these big corporation product are like. That is the fundamental reason VS Code is 500 megabyte and lots of others, efficiency and others. Okay, but Emacs is from the dedicated hardcore coders like me. We created it with a passion for coding, so that's different. Now there are problems with open source too, with the Emacs. For example, they refuse to make it easier. They refuse to change terminology, like they refuse to change the YANK terminology, cryptic, to paste, because they are proud. We are YANK because we invented it first, before you have copy in in Windows or Apple. So they got problems, and they got this extremely difficult to use keybinding that creates the most repetitive strain injury, hand injury among programmers. Okay, Emacs is the #1 editor that is the most responsible for creating the most hand damages around the world, and they refuse to change it. Because they are like, they think, oh, we are the first, you have to learn our way. The fuckheads, in my opinion. Okay. Anyway, so that's pros and cons. That's just like when you use Windows, Microsoft Windows or Linux, kind of similar. Windows, you got deep state watching behind you. They get your information and so on. But at least I can use it. On Linux, oh Jesus, you gotta dive into kernels. If you don't know what a kernel is, fuck you. That's a Linux fuckheads. They sneer people who don't know technology as smart as they are. That's what Linux people fuckheads are. And they today also collaborated, like very much integrated with deep state. It's just that you don't know it. You think, oh, Linux is freedom. It's, security, privacy. No government can control. Actually, that's not true. Linux has been deeply, you know, penetrated by deep state since like 10 years ago. Okay. Sometimes I got like fanatics, open source fanatics telling me, oh, Xah, why don't you use Linux? These idiots. Okay, I think that's it. I think I talked for 2 hours. Is that right? Today is like 2 hours, right? Is that right? 1 hour and 40 minutes. Okay, that's it. So I got lots of other things to do. Okay, so let's do a few more. About other questions next time. About using Copilot, I myself don't use it. Well, I sometimes do. I ask Squawk, but I don't like the idea of integrated, like as you code, pop-up tips, how do you code this, I don't like that. And it's progressing very rapidly, so I don't know where it's gonna go. Maybe one day every coder, but not today. Today is like they have a big way to go. The AI generated code, it's very fast changing thing. So you can't say today, next month it'll be different. So we don't know what to say yet. The AI powered coding assistant, so called. So anyway, let's go back to tutorial. So there's a few more things I want to write. There's no key. Okay, so there. So actually we just added search text QWERTY n. Okay, so search text, search forward, and now we have a search backward. Okay, so that would be capital N, search backward. Okay, we just added that. And then remove this comment about there's no key beginning search backward. Okay, so this part is done. We just added a new one, delete, and this part is easy, needs a period after each of those. Okay, so actually add the period. So go to the beginning, make a backup, do find replace that, and add a period. Okay, that, do it. Okay, I don't like this cutoff, so why don't we expand it? Do it. There's a capitalization inconsistency, so I need to fix that. Do it. Right. Do it. Wait. Yeah. No, no. Okay. Now, where is my Firefox? Yeah. So now you can see there's no period behind, right after the red words. Now refresh. Now you got a period. Fantastic. Okay, delete. Okay, that's it. Bye, guys. Close that. If you like my stuff, again, I need to mention this. Go to my homepage, xahlee.info. xahlee.info. You can buy my Emacs tutorial. And you can, Patreon me, Amazon gift card me, PayPal me. If you have a job, pay me $100. Okay. Bye, guys.